I have a confession.
What?
So I'm totally obsessed with young adult fairy smut books. And I've been reading this book series. It's called A Court of Thorn and Roses. I listened to the entire audiobook series in like a little bit more than 2 weeks. And then I got the books and I went back and read them because I wasn't ready to let them go. And now I'm buying merch. Okay. And I'm on Reddit and like, I never knew I could be so obsessed with anything other than Harry Potter. And this obsession knows no bounds. So if you need me, I will be reading the 5th book again, even though I literally just finished it on Friday of last week. I just decided, got to start again. We got to get back into it with the characters because they're going to bone and it's going to be hot and I can't wait.
Everyone should have a super fandom of some sort, whether it's, you were a Twilight fan at some point, you have a TV series that you fully love, you are reading something now that you totally dig. Everyone should have like fandom.
So true. And I also I haven't had an obsession, a fandom like this since I remember the OC on television when I was, a teenager, Harry Potter, but that was like in my youth. So this is like my first adult fandom obsession. And I'm just like, I just need to read more. I just need to know about Cassian and Nesta and like the Night Court and like, oh my God, are they okay? Even though I already know because I read it already.
Going down the Reddit rabbit holes.
Oh, reading bonus chapters that were in like preview books and,
Well, the real question is, this is how you know you're a super fan.
Okay.
Are you on the /fiction fan fiction yet?
No. What is that?
Okay, so I'm going to go have you make sure you go find yourself some fan fiction, aka /fiction, where characters who haven't hooked up yet hook up in alternate realities.
Okay, I totally have stumbled upon this when I was Googling fan art.
Yes.
I just wanted to like see the characters and just like scroll through the fan art. Okay. Well, I do think that that's the next level. I found this quote unquote hidden chapter and I was like, I think the fan fiction, I think that's where we go next.
I spent many, many college years. I was a huge X-File, and I spent many, many college years reading about Dana and Mulder just having lots of sex. Lots of it.
I'm here for it. I'm so here for it.
Just a ton of it. Just so much. And Supernatural, Castiel and Dean having a lot of sex. So.
Oh, goodness. Are those the two main characters?
Castiel, huge fan.
Are they the two main characters, right?
They're not two. Because they're brothers.
Right.
There's fiction for that too. But no, Dean is the main character, and then Castiel is an angel. And so lots of called Destiel. Lots of /fiction for that.
Get ready.
If you got anybody out there has a fandom that they're super deeply into, let us know. We'll nerd out with you.
Yeah, we will. I have no shame. I mean, you guys, if you're watching, this is a sticker of the Night Court. I put it on my water bottle and I'm getting a sweatshirt. It's coming in the mail.
Right on.
Can't stop, won't stop, no shame. If you need me, I'll be reading the same book for the 5th time. I read no more books, just to save lots of room.
That's 100% true. This is how it goes. Sometimes you're just like, I read all the time, I can't stop, and I won't stop. But it's good because if you actually have clients who are into the same things, it helps.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been telling all my friends, I'm like, you need to read this book. Like, stop messing around reading whatever shit you're reading now and just read this book series because I want to experience it through your eyes.
That is how it should be for everyone. It should be. All right, guys. Well, guess what? Let's get started. Hi, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it all out. But we promise to tell you everything we know about what it takes to make 6 figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
A bunch of it totally sucks. So let's get started.
Mm-hmm. I mean, every time you say that, I'm like, yes, it does suck. So, God, welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we're going to talk about how to buy new machines and equipment and all the things you want to spend your money on. Should you finance it? Should you save up? Should you ask somebody for money? What should you do?
And why your business needs its very own line of credit so that you're not just asking some rando on the street.
Yeah. Just walking up to strangers. Hi, can you give me money? I really need to get the new hydrofacial equipment. Thank you.
Yes. Speaking of hydrofacial equipment, I have one on loan right now behind me. Mm-hmm. It's so much fancier than my other one was, which I still love, but it's back there.
Everything. Does it make you coffees too?
I mean, I feel like it should.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't found that button yet.
There's a latte bar button.
You're like, shh, foam.
You wouldn't want to mess that one up though, and get the foam of somebody's face cells. Oh!
They'd be like, you just shh, don't ask questions. It's all working.
So gross. All right, so tell me, where today's topic idea, are people asking about buying equipment? People are thinking about buying equipment. What's going on?
Yeah, so essentially, there's just in the zeitgeist right now, people are like, I've got money burning a hole in my pocket. I want to buy equipment. I want to buy stuff. And I think also when summertime rolls around, people are just always really excited. We just had the Vegas show, so people are talking about kind of new equipment and what's out there. People want to buy new stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm very much of the mindset, if you want to buy something, that's great. But, a lot of questions should be asked before you purchase. We've had lots of conversations about, should you buy? When should you buy? Why do you want to buy? If you're going to buy, if you're going to buy, let's talk about it. How are you going to buy it?
Yeah. Well, I think too, having money in your pocket, because I know this was the case for me, there were things that I was I know these are super important that I need to do. Getting my trademark was one of them. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the capital yet until I have it. And then it's burning a hole in my pocket and I better move it out as quickly as possible to take care of this thing. So I totally get I'm very familiar with money burning a hole in my pocket.
Right. And so there is a certain degree of, if you've wanted something for a really long time and you've kind of held off, maybe it's time to go ahead and purchase that thing. I try to be very conscientious of people, making sure if you want to purchase that item, you really know that it's right for you, it's time. And we have a whole episode where we talk about the reasons, the questions you should ask yourself before you go out and charge forward and be like, I'm just buying this thing for reasons that I'm going to be sad about later. Because we've all purchased stuff and been sad and made poor decisions. But if you're going to make a good decision, a life-changing product line, machine, whatever decision, or you're just starting up and you're like, what should I be buying? And I'm going to be buying a bunch of stuff. It's time to upgrade. I have a crappy bed. It's time to get a bed. Best thing you'll ever buy.
Yes. Get a good bed.
Mm-hmm. Best thing you'll ever buy. And it's funny because I was just sitting in a class that, a bunch of estheticians and they're like, yeah, I have all this money and I think I'm going to buy this, this, and this. And I'm like, are you still using a crappy massage bed? Because I've been in your studio. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, why are you not buying a hydraulic bed? And they're like, my clients never complain. I'm like, that's because they don't know better.
Yeah, they haven't felt a good bed. I mean, you always told me too that a good bed matters. I was like, really? How much does it matter? And then when we were on that shitty massage table, I was like, my back is killing me and I don't even have back pain.
Yep. And now you're in my other studio that I'm subletting. And how is that bed?
The foam makes it and tolerable. Also,
it makes it tolerable. But is it my Oakworks bed that's sitting behind me that I love?
I could sleep on that thing.
Yes, you can. And I have many times. And I mean, honestly, this Oakworks bed is, even to this day, I think it's a $3,000 bed. So, in the grand scheme of things, this is the only used every single time somebody walks into this office piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. Every single person is going to lie on this bed.
Right. I was going to say too, it's not something that they're necessarily going to complain about because they, like you're saying, they don't know any better, but it's the little things that allow them to relax and feel better while they're in your space. It's 100% worth it.
And it saves my body because it goes up and down. It's so conformable for me as well because it moves, it bends, and it easily helps me keep my body safe. So these are things you think about really when you're deciding on what purchases you're making and how you're spending your money.
Buy the bed.
Buy the bed. And when you're investing in things, that's what you're really thinking about is this a thing that is going to be with me for a long time and make money for me for a long time, that is going to save me hassle for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just something that I like, oh, this seemed cool and I wanted it
Right.
because everybody has one?
Right. Don't do that. Also, I mean, again, we've talked about this before, so I won't stay too long on this, but like, you don't need a new machine or a new course to change your prices or serve your clients better. Like, buying something doesn't make you better.
No, you're already awesome.
Yeah.
You're already awesome.
Yeah.
And even if you're starting out and you're just watching this, guess what? You're still awesome. Maybe you want to go take some new classes. A machine's not going to make you better. Education might, but you probably are still awesome.
Yep.
It's going to be okay.
Yes.
It's going to be okay.
One thing we definitely want to talk about when you're thinking of making this big purchase, because as we, were mapping out this episode, you were like, oh, just pull a line of credit. And I was like, whoa, hold up, pump the brakes on that one. As someone who has gotten themselves into significant debt by way of, I'll just put it on credit. Like, yeah. So take it from me. My wise wisdom here. Definitely you want to know your numbers before you even go to purchase. And what I mean by that is, how much money am I reliably bringing in every month? What are my expenses? What are my other liabilities, other things I'm paying off? Do I actually have money to pay the monthly financing bill for this thing? Because if that answer is no, then financing it is just going to put you into debt. And then once you're sliding down that slope, it becomes very slippery and very hard to like keep making your way up. So know your numbers before you buy stuff. But then also, there's always a situation of like that emergency purchase, that impulse purchase where you're like, oh shoot, my mag lamp broke or my computer broke. What do I do now?
Yeah. So there are certain things, right, that you have that we call the inevitable purchases, where, I've been there where, you're like, oh my God, this is a thing that I literally can't live without. And I've had estheticians talk to me and they're just like, my mag lamp broke and I need one right now. Well, luckily most mag lamps are not crazy expensive. You can get one for $150. Even if you overnight ship it, it'll, be another $50. But when you're talking about, you're like, my steamer broke, y'all, you can probably live without a steamer for a little bit of time. In fact, I don't even have a steamer and I survived my life. Can you live without a computer? Alex, for what you do, can you live without a computer?
No,
you can't. Most of us cannot live without a computer. Do you need the fanciest and biggest computer?
No,
Alex, but when you're making choices on a computer, what kind of choices do you need to make?
You need to make educated choices, well-informed choices. And also, I'm still bitter that Apple makes a computer that doesn't have enough power to power their operating system. I feel like they need to take responsibility for that, but I'll take responsibility for that. But yeah, you need to buy something that's like actually going to work. Because sometimes I just need this now because I need the thing. And like, oh my God. And the panic around that makes you make very poor choices.
Yeah,
but
and you can't trust other people to help you because like you went into an Apple store and did they tell you, by the way, this is not going to help you. This is not. So Alex, if you've not ever heard the story from Alex, which we have a few episodes about it, Alex purchased a machine that was a lemon. Did not help Alex. Did not do the job.
No, it was really shitty.
Did they tell you this is not going to work for you? You should actually buy this other machine. This is not helping you.
No, because the crazy thing too is that even when I like totally wiped it and it was like plain Jane computer, it still didn't work. So it really was an underpowered system for what Apple was offering. I ended up selling it on eBay and like my parents bought me another one and I'm forever like actually have to pay them back in debt. But I do want to touch upon something that will save you from this that I have learned. That was like part of my metamorphosis into the mindful money manager I am now. Just like you do in your personal life. And Lindsay told us, our financial therapist, an awesome friend of the pod, an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund that you set aside. I personally like to do percentages because like telling myself like, oh, you're going to put $50 a month or whatever it is. I'm like, oh God, but like, what if I don't have enough that month? Whereas a percentage, I'm like, we good. We got this. Okay.
Right.
So
10% is a lot less scary sometimes than
yeah,
saying like $100. You're like,
right.
$100.
Totally, totally. But then you have that fund for, oh shit, the mag lamp broke. That's literally what it's for. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I would 100% recommend starting to institute. And actually, I'm realizing I was like, oh, I don't have that. I should probably start doing that in my business. And then the second thing, which I know we've talked about before, but I'll bring it up again, is the profit first system. So
Yes.
this is a book that you should absolutely read. You could listen to an audiobook at like 3x speed. The guy likes to hear himself talk. But the gist of it is similar in that you have percentages and you have accounts based on these percentages, because it's like with food too. If it's on my plate, I'm eating the whole thing. And so I actually portion out my money into different accounts so that it's like out of sight, out of mind. Every 2 weeks, I go in my account. Okay, we got this much money. Great. 15% goes to taxes. I call it my offshore account. It's really just a credit union that I don't log into. Also, I have another quote unquote offshore account that's like my profit account. So another percentage goes in there. That's my fun money. Because if you're not spending money to like buy shit you actually like, why are we even running a business in the first place?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you could even, again, know your numbers, look at your numbers, knowing that, oh, I need to make a big purchase at some point. How much money do I actually need to put aside so that maybe I can finance less and then my monthly payments are smaller? Just thinking of all of these things rather than doing what I did when my computer broke and I was like, I have a webinar in less than 24 hours. I need a computer. Oh my God. And then buying literally the world's shittiest computer. Don't be like me.
Absolutely. And I want everyone to listen, because if you are a longtime listener to the show, you can see that Alex has come a long, long way. If you go back and you listen to the episode that we talked to our lovely Profit First guest.
Gosh, yeah. Oh, no,
yes,
she was the
Profit First guest. This conversation went more like, I can't even talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so stressed. I'm sweating. And now look at Alex. She's like, this is what we do. This is how we work, because Alex has got her money on lockdown. She is doing it so much better. So yay. But I will also still go with the whole fact with the next level of that is to understand that you should have credit. Credit isn't scary. And you should be able to use your credit cards. But you have to have everything that Alex just said. You have to feel comfortable and be doing all of that correctly. Before you go to this next level. Otherwise, you are going to bungle your life. You're going to be sitting around on the curb, eating out of trash cans.
Yeah.
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 That's what's going to happen next.
So what is the difference though between like a personal credit card and a business credit card? Like, because right now I have a personal credit card that I just designate as business.
Right. So technically, the credit industry sees your credit cards as separate. So a business credit card actually is under, especially if you have an LLC, as a sole proprietor, if you're using yourself as the owner. So like for me, I'm a sole proprietor. I don't have an LLC yet. It doesn't matter as much. But the credit card companies, they do see it very differently if you're an LLC. And the credit card companies still will see them differently on your credit report. They see them completely differently.
Right.
So let's say that you go bankrupt or something. Your credit card companies, if you're an LLC, that LLC credit card, that's part of that business credit card is part of that credit. But Alex, if you go bankrupt or something, that personal card is your personal card. It doesn't matter if you're using it for business. They don't care. It's a personal card. They're coming after you.
Right.
So you want that extra layer of protection if you can. The other thing is that business credit cards they are seen on credit reports as separate. They're different. They give you a different line of credit. So you can be like, I'm tapped out on my personal credit, but your business line of credit, they're like, sweet, we have more money for you there. And business lines of credit are so much bigger. My business lines of credit are often like $50,000.
Oh, wow.
Whereas my personal, they'll give me 10 and I laugh at it. I'm like, $10,000, I can spend that on my business in like 3 seconds.
I know.
Because when you start making more money, you need bigger lines of credit.
Right.
And maybe you're not there yet, but you might be there at some point. And so you need to start thinking in advance for that. Also, business credit cards give you different opportunities. They give you different reports at the end of the year. So they'll give you a report where you can see they give you an end of the year report where you can like see how much you spent on every little section. They allow you to go in a lot of times and mark down what each kind of spending category is, so that when you pull it into your QuickBooks or whatever, it already is designated. So you don't have to like figure that crap out. It's like, oh, I already know that this one weird grocery store that doesn't have a name is actually a grocery store.
Right.
Or the vendor that I name all the time that I'm like, this is a vendor who sells my skincare. It knows that that's what it is.
Right. Do you have to have an EIN to open a business line of credit?
You don't. So if you're an LLC, you want to use your EIN. If you're not, you're just going to use your social security number.
You do have a doing business. What? I was going to say, if you're using your social security number, it's going to go on your personal credit report, though.
It is going to go on your personal credit, yes. Okay. And they'll still ask you for your social security number because they still want to know who you are. You're still attached to your credit card.
Right.
They're also going to want, if you are opening under your business name, they're going to want to doing business as. So they're going to want your information for doing business as. They're going to have proof that you're doing business as. So make sure you've had that set up. But anybody can open a business credit card. So like I have them under just my name. So I have it under Sybil Solon, and I open it up under Sybil Solon with my social security number. And then I call my business Solon Studio, and that's my business credit card. And I have a line of credit for Solon Studio.
Right. Nice. Yeah, this is something I hadn't thought about. So here's another thing about like money decisions and buying decisions, whether it's, equipment or whatever. Sit on it. Think about it. Yeah. Do your research, So for me, what that looks like is I'm going to go turn to some of the other financial people who I respect and like read what they say and like look at what they say and get a couple of other opinions to like, what card do I want to get, rather than just, oh, open a business credit card and then just open it today.
Absolutely. And find the credit card that's worked for you.
Yeah.
For me, I know that I've always used Chase credit cards because I really like the Bank of Chase. Bank of Chase, I always tell people I built an entire house in the Bank of Chase. So Chase credit cards are incredibly good. They're for credit card companies, I find them to be very nice companies. They don't like hide anything. They put it all out on the table. And so I've always appreciated them as a company. They've been very good to me. But there are other credit card companies. And if you have a credit card that you already have that you really like, you can always go to that company and say, hi, I'd like to have your business credit card. Do you have one? Mm-hmm. No credit card company is going to turn you down and be like, no, you have a relationship with us? Hell no, we don't like you.
That's a great point.
They want your money. They want to do business with you. Now, not every credit card company has a business line. Mm-hmm. But many of them do, and you just have to ask. Yeah. I will also tell you that usually they're completely different departments, so they will often send you over to the department because they are completely different departments.
That's a great point. I mean, if the PPP taught us anything, it's relationships are so important. Stop trying to like be a new customer.
Yeah, don't do it. You really want to insular stuff when it comes to money and banking. It's all about who you know. It's all about who you know. So, when it comes to credit, building credit for your business is important, in my opinion, because later on, when you are an established business, let's say you do need to get a loan, you have now established credit as a business, not as just a person. Right. And so somebody will look at you and they'll say, oh, okay, you wanted more money. Oh, you're a PPP. You were looking for money. I see that you have credit already. I see that you've been paying off a credit card, not as Alexander Ellis, but as your business.
Right.
Congratulations. You're legitimate.
Right.
You want to buy a house and we want to prove that you're a business owner. You have a line of credit. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. That's great. So there are reasons why you open business credit cards.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like off to the races to go do this now.
But you do have to know how to use your credit card. Start with one and make sure that, you just use it and pay it off at the end of every month. Don't leave money on it, guys. Don't leave money. Any credit card, don't leave money on it. Just pay it off.
Trust me.
Pay it off right away.
Trust me, as I'm paying off so many
It's not free money. It's money that gets paid off right away. Just put it on auto pay and pay it off.
Yes, that's the biggest thing too. It's not free money. Your credit card is just like a buffer between your checking account and the thing you're purchasing. So if you can't pay it off in full right now, you shouldn't be buying it.
That is correct. Because now you're just making something more expensive.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not even an emergency. Like some people are like, well, I use it for emergencies. I'm like, no.
No, that's what your emergency fund is for.
Yeah, that's not what the credit card is for. A credit card is literally something that I use to track everything I spend.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the way that it tracks everything.
That and the consumer protection you get, right? Something happens with the machine that you bought. Oftentimes credit cards have extra warranties and, insurances and things on it.
To a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but also it's so much easier. If you need to make a return or something and the vendor is giving you a hard time, you can call up your credit card company and often they will solve it for you.
That has become less and less true, but because the credit card company takes zero responsibility for anything anymore. As a vendor, as us vendors all know, we are the people who take responsibility for all these things now. But you can absolutely track it better. If something does need to return, it's easier because it was digital. So it's not like it was cash somewhere. So it's easier to track everything. If you're being audited by something, you can go track it down more easily. It's not like some piece of paper somewhere. There is a digital trail for it. So all of these things are reasons why you have that business, credit card. Also, if it is a business credit card for your business, that is really a real business credit card, it looks better for, potentially for the IRS because they're like, oh, it's really a business credit card. Beautiful.
Right. You're not just laundering money.
I love laundering money. What?
I mean, I run a laundromat. Duh.
It's the best. No, we all want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be as legitimate as possible, especially as small vendors, because we know that, we are the people who get most scrutinized, even though we are doing everything we possibly can to be legitimate. Yeah. Because we don't have any help to be, have our offshore accounts.
No.
We're just trying to keep our business like floating. Okay.
So true. Holy shit. It's so true.
Totally true.
All right. Any last things about credit and buying equipment?
I think the only last thing I would say is that one of the biggest things when you are purchasing with your credit card is I am a firm believer when you're deciding to buy with your credit card is look for incentives with your credit card. So I always talk about how I purchased my hydrofacial, my very first one years ago, on a 0% APR credit card. And it was a 24-month 0% APR credit card. And guys, these are still out there. If you have good credit, you can still find these incentivized credit cards. So what you can do a lot of the times is you can take these credit cards and you can give yourself, space to then start making money with your machine, with this new purchase, whatever. And what I did is I'm like, okay, I know that I have this much time to start making money. And I was like, okay, so every month I need to sell this many of these facials because I have this many months to pay this off. And I would pay that card off every month in my mind. I'd put it away on my offshore account, like Alex said. And I'd be like, okay, so that money is going to pay that off so that in that 24 months, that machine was paid in full.
Right. Without having to pay interest.
Without having to pay any interest on it.
Yeah.
But it gave me that buffer. So if the first 2 months I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not making money yet, whatever. I was like, okay, well then I know that I have to change up my marketing. And then, I had like 3 months to completely make mistakes.
Yeah.
And then all the money went to the machine.
Yeah. Just give yourself some breathing room.
Yeah, it definitely gave me some space, and that will help you. But you definitely want to make sure that you have a plan in place for paying that off. It's not like, oh well, I'm just if I can't spend money on it, then it's going to be fine.
I'm having so many flashbacks of the ridiculous stuff that I have said in the past. I'm just like, it's going to make so much money. And just like.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely have backup plans for whatever you're going to do. Have backup plans.
And know your numbers.
Extra buffer space, as Alex said.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
So that's the only other thing I wanted to say.
Yeah. And that's such a great point too, though. So thank you because it's so true. And like, know your numbers, y'all. Like, I feel like we have weathered a storm together collectively, and we have reached the point where like, we got to take this shit seriously, right? We are business owners. You are a business owner. I'm a business owner. We are bosses. And like, let's play the big game, you know? Let's do it. So I want to hear from you, dear listener, about either a big purchase that you are about to make, that you're thinking about, that maybe you have some extra things that are like percolating in your mind now. Or maybe like me, you have a horror story of when you made that emergency impulse purchase and it went terribly, terribly wrong. There's no shame here. We're here to support and uplift, acknowledge our fuck ups, and learn from them and move forward.
Oh God.
There's so many. I know I'm
We've
not
all
one.
had them. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So you can find the show on Instagram. It's at Skinfessional. You can find Sybil at Your Skin Fitness Expert. And you can find me at Mala for Mala. Or you can leave us a ring-a-ding-ding into our box.
I know. Does this even count anymore? Do people do this with their phone? Come on
now. No, I think they pretend they're doing like a face.
I know. People are like this now. Okay. But you still can call us. It's 818-473-5277. We want to hear from you about everything, because this is how we know how to do the show.
This is how we do it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So until next week,
keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.